So I'm watching the VP debate, and a political ad comes up, and it smears Donald Trump. It's a disgusting, revolting ad. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to run it. I'm not going to even tell you what it was. That's how revolting the whole thing is.
Trump-supporting right-wing commentator and former Fox News host Bill O'Reilly was visibly triggered on air by an anti-Trump ad, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, this is actually, at least part of it, is a lot of fun. Some of it is actually quite serious, but we'll get to the fun parts first. Bill O'Reilly is someone we've talked about on this channel before. He's a former infamous Fox News host. He was basically the progenitor to Tucker Carlson. He was Tucker Carlson before there was Tucker Carlson. He's a frenemy of Jon Stewart. They've had some epic debates and interviews and exchanges. But it's important to remember that even though O'Reilly has a charisma to him, he is a strident Trump supporter. And so we're going to show his reaction first to the ad because it actually sets the ad up. It really hypes it up. So Bill O'Reilly watched an ad by a political action group led by George Conway, ex-husband of Kellyanne Conway and a prominent Trump critic. Again, we will play the ad, but I first want you to get the triggered reaction from Bill O'Reilly about the ad because he's not happy.
So I'm watching the VP debate, and a political ad comes up, and it smears Donald Trump. It's a disgusting, revolting ad. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to run it. I'm not going to even tell you what it was. That's how revolting the whole thing is. So I said to myself, look into this. Who paid for this ad? It was paid for by a man named George Conway. Used to be married to Kellyanne Conway. In my opinion, he is a despicable human being, this guy. He hates Trump, but not only that. He wants to destroy anyone with whom he disagrees. He runs a political action committee called Anti-Psychopath. It's devoted totally to destroying Donald Trump and his family. All the money that Conway raises goes to that purpose. And he puts on this revolting political ad. Shockingly, Fox News, ESPN, Golf Channel, CNN, MSNBC, News Nation, Newsmax, Hallmark, and Lifetime all ran the ad. Why? Why would you run that ad? Everybody knows it's defamatory. Why? There's got to be some kind of standards here. Shocking. It's blood money. Any company or corporation take money, an ad like that's blood money.
Bill, calm down. Relax, buddy. So again, Bill O'Reilly, former Fox News host, Trump-supporting political commentator. There got to be standards. I should say, on the subject of defamation, the candidate that Bill O'Reilly prefers in this race, and the one whom he will be voting for, was actually found liable for sexual abuse and defamation in court of E. Jean Carroll. According to the presiding judge, that jury judgment, as far as common parlance is concerned, the jury found that Trump raped E. Jean Carroll. So it's interesting that he throws around the word defamatory, and he's all up in arms about an ad, which we will show you. But his preferred candidate has actually, according to a court of law, committed defamation against a woman whom he raped. Bill O'Reilly doesn't seem to care about that because he's still going to back Donald Trump in the upcoming election. Very strange. I should also say that Bill O'Reilly's former employers at Fox News had to pay the biggest recorded defamation settlement to avoid going to trial against Dominion Voting Systems. They had to shell out $787 million because they were knowingly signal boosting Donald Trump's lies and defaming Dominion Voting Systems. So again, not sure that Bill O'Reilly has a leg to stand on here. Seems like his side is objectively far worse, and he doesn't care. So what about the ad in question? Well, this is the advertisement that so triggered Bill O'Reilly We're going to play it and unpack it together.
Hi, I'm George Conway. There's been a lot of talk about whether there's a DEI candidate in this year's presidential election. I'm here to tell you that there is. His name is Donald Trump. Trump is deranged.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. The late, great Hannibal Lecter is a lovely man.
Trump is egomaniacal.
I could have been sunbathing on the beach. You have never seen a body so beautiful. One of the great memories of all time. Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
And Trump is incompetent.
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way.
My administration has accomplished more than any administration in the history of our country.
Don't vote for the DEI candidate. Don't vote for Donald Trump. And by the way, according to his own sister, Donald Trump actually paid someone to take his college entrance exams for him.
Anti-Psychopath Pack Inc. is responsible for...
So George Conway will tell you that the whole point of the Anti-Psychopath Pack is just to troll Donald Trump, get under his skin, needle him, using facts, figures, logic, and certainly a factual basis. But the whole point is to continue to troll Donald Trump. I think it's a worthwhile. So that's certainly a moral crusade. But Bill O'Reilly is really upset by that ad, which I think as far as ads go, that's pretty anodyne. And O'Reilly's upset that Fox News played it. I think it's hilarious. I think it's great that they got it onto Fox News. More of that, please. I should also say on a serious front, or more serious front, George Conway's Political Action Committee also recently put together 2 additional ads about Donald Trump that are much more sobering than the lighthearted ad that we saw. I wonder if Bill O'Reilly has anything to say on these. We're going to play some of these and talk about it after.
My name is Natasha Stoynoff. In 2005, I went to interview Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. At one point, Melania went upstairs to change her clothes for the next photo shoot. And Trump said to me, I want to show you this beautiful painting, this beautiful room. He leads me to this room, pushes me against the wall, and starts kissing me forcefully. I tried to push him. He kept coming back at me. I was in shock and smothered, and he had his hands here against my shoulders. I felt sick inside. I felt horrified. And thank goodness the butler charges into the room. Like many women, I blamed myself. So Trump turned to me and said, you know we're going to have an affair, don't you? And Melania was approaching. I was horrified. When the Access Hollywood tape came out, and also stories of many other women, including E. Jean Carroll, I realized I was not to blame, that he was just a predator of women. What could have happened if the butler had not come into the room? Donald Trump is an adjudicated sexual assaulter. We cannot elect this man as president.
It's a very serious, sobering ad. At the same time that they dropped that ad, they dropped another one as well from another victim of Donald Trump's depredations.
1979, I had gotten on an airplane. The stewardess said to me, would you like to come up to first class? In the window seat was a gentleman, said that his name was Donald Trump. The airplane took off, and all of a sudden, Donald Trump started groping me. He was trying to kiss me, and I'm trying to push him away. He was basically overpowering me. When he started putting his hand up my skirt, I got out of the seat, grabbed my purse, and went back to my original seat. And I certainly was shook up by the whole thing. 2 years later, at this fundraiser, up comes Trump and his wife. And he looked at me and he said, I remember you. You're that cunt from the airplane. Donald Trump views women as for his entertainment. He is a serial predator. He has said it point blank, and he's done it, and he will continue to do it.
Anti-Psychopath Pack Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Yeah, pretty shocking, serious stuff. Last clip I want to play here was about the time that those ads were released. George Conway appeared on MSNBC, and they discussed the ads in question.
He is a psychopath, and he's a narcissistic sociopath or psychopath, a malignant narcissist. He really is. He represents sort of the worst of the human spirit, or dispirit, if you will. He is mentally ill. He suffers from narcissistic personality disorder and suffers from antisocial personality disorder. He checks all the boxes. And among those boxes are really some very, very negative characteristics that you can find in a small number of human beings, which is a complete lack of empathy, a complete inability to cohere, to follow rules and laws and to respect the big boundaries and dignity of other human beings, a complete lack of remorse, pathological lying, and an impulsiveness. And there's so many of these characteristics that illustrate themselves in his behavior toward women. It explains his misogyny, it explains a lot of other things, his criminality, but it explains what he did with E. Jean Carroll and what he said to Billy Bush that time. He's like, this is how he actually thinks. He believes this. And he, the notion that he did this with his wife, to Natasha, with his wife in the same building, the notion that he did what he did to E. Jean Carroll, as a jury found, in a department store in Midtown Manhattan. He's a very, very sick and dangerous man. And that's part of the reason why we're doing this, is to really bring that home to people by showing them the victims.
Yeah. So again, these are more serious, substantive ads, which you hear directly from people who've been victimized by Donald Trump. So George Conway's political action committee runs the gamut in terms of the output, in terms of advertisements, but they're all visceral. They all hit hard. Even the funnier ones, like the ones in the one in the beginning of this video, where he's trolling Donald Trump, and Bill O'Reilly is visibly triggered by this, to the more serious ones, featuring two victims of Donald Trump. So definitely keep an eye on Anti-Psychopath PAC. I would follow them on Twitter. If you have Twitter, I think they're definitely worth your time. But again, interesting stuff, especially, again, Bill O'Reilly's over-the-top response to this, so upset about the alleged defamation and viciousness of the ads, while simultaneously enthusiastically supporting and voting for a man who actually is a defamer, according to courts of law, and is infinitely more vicious than anything that George Conway has ever produced in his entire life. Curious double standard. In the meantime, of course, let me know what you think in the comments.